What's up, Reno? Shade Tree Surgeon here, and boy, I got a lot to do. Me and Shay Lisi are leaving for the P&W soon, heading back to Portland to hang out with all our friends up there and celebrate 420 in the way that only Brapstar and Sessions can. Well, I guess anybody can celebrate it like that, but I like to think that we have a little bit more fun. So I have chores, and I don't really like chores. I like to have fun, experience whimsy, and do as little as possible. I make it an art form avoiding work, but this work can't be avoided. Luckily, my work is still pretty fun. Chore number 1, service Shay Lisi's Big Red Goldwing. Chore number 2, get this Mercury Classic 50 out of the back of my now fixed pickup truck. Chore number 2.5, explain why I have another Mercury Classic 50 when I was supposed to have sold my other one on Craigslist already. Chore number 3, take my truck back to the body shop because they didn't fix everything. Chore number 4, explain to you guys why this bass boat that I got for free and put some elbow grease into and was supposed to have sold on Facebook Marketplace is still sitting in my front yard. Though if you've ever tried to sell anything on Facebook Marketplace, you probably don't need that much of an explanation. Chore number 5, get the now second 200 horsepower Johnson V6 off the ground over there. And chore number 5.5, explain why there's yet another 200 horsepower outboard laying on the ground in my yard. This one's actually a good one, okay? I promise. Chore number 6, make this Buell run. Chore number 7, get the deck boat going. I've got all the controls, I've got a center console, I've got a gas tank. This was running the last time I worked on it. There's no reason that chore number 7 through 8 shouldn't be install that stuff and do a water test on my free deck boat, AKA the 8th passenger, AKA the good ship Nostromo. All right, I got my work cut out for me, but like I said, it's not really work, is it? All of this stuff is just me avoiding anything that looks like actual work. We got about 36 hours to get all this stuff done, starting now. So theoretically, all you gotta do is change the oil, slap some brake pads on this thing, and give it a general inspection after our last road trip to pick up the Doughboy. Link to that video down below if you wanna watch it. I think it was a really fun video that ended up not doing that well. That's okay, because I felt really good about making it. Actually, I felt really conflicted about making it, but regardless, things are complicated. What's not complicated is putting brake pads and doing an oil change on a Goldwing. These things will go forever and ever and ever. Amazing, long-lived, most miles ever motorcycle ever made in the world, as long as you change the damn oil and air filters. And you know, the brake pads won't actually stop it from running, but they will stop it from stopping. So before we got to replace rotors, let's do that. Well, now that I'm taking the last one of these off, I'm looking at this and realizing I don't think I had to take off the front one to get it at the brakes. If you've ever wondered why it takes me forever to get anything done, one of the reasons is I usually do things the hard way. Not because I want to. Yeah, I didn't need to take that off. I mean, this one, yes. The front one, no. Now, if you're asking questions like, hey, Shade Tree Surgeon, why didn't you check to see if these brake pads needed to be changed when you had the wheels off to put new tires on the Goldwing? And you know what? That's a really, really good question. And I'm not answering it. All of a sudden, I'm remembering that I have done this before, and I'm currently doing it wrong. Now, as I started to pull this off to change the brakes like I normally would, I remember that these are actually supposed to be changed with the calipers still attached, and there's a little piece of rubber that covers an Allen down here that you pull out, and the brake pads swing out. I personally don't like when it's set up like this, but hey, when in Rome. So far, I'm doing really great at making sure that I conserve time. Now, theoretically, these should just swing right out, but I've only ever changed these one time. Bear with me. Okay, cool. They do pull right out. Theoretically easier, but there is something I don't like about it. I'll show you on the other side. So, yeah, this is technically less steps. It is technically easier. Boom, out come our brake pads. Now, normally I'd compress the pistons while this was on the outside with a C-clamp, just like you would on a car. Make sure you take the cover off the master cylinder. When you do that, I have popped the sight glass out of a master cylinder before not taking the top off of it. But on this one, so when you put one in, you can't put the other one in. You can move this back and forth on here, of course, but it's really hard to just jam a screwdriver in there and compress these cylinders because I don't want to mar up my brake disc. I don't know if this is the actual procedure or not. Stick this front guy in here real quick, and I'll take my syringe here, put it on the bleeder, just so I don't make a mess, and so I can bleed that little bit of air off the top so it's not in the system. The reason you got to crack this is I don't think I have enough strength, or at least I didn't on the other side, to compress these the way they needed to, which is going to let a little bit of fluid out of here. And maybe it would have worked fine if I took the top off the master cylinder. I'm not really sure, but anyway, this is how I'm doing it. A little push on this side with that cracked. We should see some fluid come into here, which means I've got those compressed enough to get the backside in. What I don't like about it is usually the pins that these things slide back and forth on. That's something that I always grease every time I do a brake job on a car, a bike, whatever it is. And since you're supposed to change these without removing them, the other one you have to completely take apart to get it off or take the wheel off the bike. It just makes it so you don't grease those. I think that's a bad design, and I'm not sure why they did it that way. Of course, knowing Honda, the manual might say that you got to take the front wheel off every time you change the brakes or something like that. And I'm sure somebody watching here right now is the type of gold-winged daddy that knows exactly what the manual says and will correct me if I was wrong at the speed of sound in the comment sections. And one more time, with feeling. Come on, man, this seems... Oh, technical difficulties. All right, and we're back almost 2 hours later. I had to take a quick break because YouTube demonetized the video that's coming out later today. Now, it's not that big of a deal if I don't make money off a video. YouTube ad revenue really doesn't pay me all that much money. Obviously, if I can get it, I'll take it. I don't hate money, but a normal video usually makes around 200 bucks. It's not the end of the world if I don't make any money off it. The problem is when they get demonetized is they just are crushed in the algorithm. They don't get recommended to anybody. Nobody ends up seeing them. A video that even if I turn the monetization off on it, will do a quarter of the views of a video that monetization is active on. And it's not just about people seeing my videos. It's because we do a lot of stuff with Forgotten Angels. We've got the Miami device, the Square Grouper, the bike that's get giveaway right now that we're promoting and selling raffle tickets for to help young men and women who've aged out of the foster care system. So it's not just about people seeing my vids. It's definitely not about $200 I might make from a vid that does okay. Got a lot more than that. And apparently YouTube says that riding my dirt bike in full safety gear on a closed course constitutes harmful and dangerous activities. Which I guess maybe is true because my skill at riding a dirt bike is not exactly the best, but give me a freaking break. Anyway, just fought them for 2 hours. Hey, let's go ahead and finish this thing up and kick up the speed into high gear because that didn't do me any favors. Well, upon further inspection, this is what happens when you get things used. I'm missing 2 pieces to this Kuryakin trailer hitch for the GL 1800. That's all right though. I'm gonna button this up and move on. Get those pieces ordered and we'll just have to put that trailer hitch on when we come back from the PNW. Not like we were gonna use it before we left. All right, let's knock out an oil change and we'll call this done for now. And as far as oil goes, we're gonna go ahead and put in good old-fashioned Rotella. Goldwing actually calls for 10W40, not 15W40, but I don't think it matters, and this diesel oil has extra zinc in it, so we're gonna go ahead and put it in there, and if you don't like it, you can tell me what kind of oil you use in the comments section. It's a little bit of a bummer when you have to build something to get something out of the bed of your truck, but that's the situation we're in right now, so let's build it. Okay, good morning. Back at it again with a different shirt, which means I'm several hours poorer for getting all this stuff done, and it's looking pretty unlikely. Let's finish building my crane. And let's start finishing it by replacing some of my Chinesium hardware with grade 8. Yeah, this stuff didn't hold up at all, even putting it together. The Chinesium hardware is always cheap, but the days of it actually being cheap to buy are numbered, that's for sure. All right, boys, I'm gonna be honest on this one. I'm used to doing this with a friend and being able to lift up these boat motors with somebody else helping me. This is my first time doing it solo. It'll be a learning experience for all of us. Hopefully not that harsh of a lesson. Boys, I think we got it. Hell yeah. Well, cool. It worked. Let's see if this is gonna work. Oh. Now we could be running into a problem. Dang. How the hell am I gonna figure this one out? I need... Yeah, that ain't gonna fly, boys. This is an issue. Fuck, I didn't think this through, as per usual. Use your brain, Josh.
Need help?
I don't know if there's a way you can help me. You turn the camera off? Unsurprisingly, my plan didn't work. But for right now, this is where this thing's gonna have to live. Life is harder when you're stupid. It's also more expensive. Hopefully this whole thing doesn't come crashing down. All right, what's the verdict? My 200 Johnson and my 50 Merc hitting the ground, or will it hold? Yes, it holds, for now at least. Well, so far the list I've made myself to do before we leave for Portland is doing rather poorly, and we're about to make it do even more poorly because instead of doing anything that looks like work, we've decided on adventure. Last time we were out at Edward Retard Park and I was filming a shoe commercial slash Giantess in the Trees commercial. Sunbleach lost her international driver's license, but way worse than that, Shaylisi lost an earring. So what are we supposed to do? Besides go back, experience a little adventure, to hell with anything that even smells like work, even if it's fun, and ride motorcycles instead. I don't know if this is me being a bad influence or what, but Shaylisi has decided to ride without her helmet for the very first time. Don't worry, we have it. Because I'm pretty sure once she does a couple miles without her helmet, what you're going to realize is life is much more comfortable with a helmet on than it is with one off.
You think you're the influence? You think you're the only person in the world who doesn't ride without a helmet on?
First person you knew.
That's true. I don't wear a helmet. I was never allowed to ride without a helmet on, and I never have until now.
You've earned a few miles without a helmet to see what it feels like.
I'll ride without a helmet, but I'm not riding without my Odin gloves.
Now will these bitches wanna try and be my bestie?
Like I said, I think Shaylisi's earned riding a couple miles without a helmet. If I didn't think that she was gonna absolutely hate it, I probably would have insisted that she put it on, even though she's her own human being. She can choose to ride without a helmet. I'm not the boss of her. I can certainly strongly encourage, but not the boss of her. How does it feel so far?
It's not worth risking my life. It really isn't when you think about it. But I see why people feel that way.
I ain't one to talk anyway. I spent the first 13 years on a motorcycle without ever putting on a helmet once. And Shay wasn't wrong. When I bought Shay Lacey her very first motorcycle when she turned 18, or was it 17? I can't even remember. I did not wear a helmet, and her motorcycle showed up with a helmet, and I told her if I ever caught her on it without one, I'd beat her ass. And for me, it was never about looking cool, though I will say you rarely see an action star doing something badass in a movie with a helmet on. I'm just saying. But for me, it wasn't about looking cool. It was just literally nobody in Florida wore a helmet, especially not when I started riding. It just wasn't done. Like, the only guys who wore helmets are guys who were on the racetrack. So it wasn't like I made a conscious decision to not wear a helmet. Nobody wore a helmet. None of the guys I rode with did. None of the older guys I rode with did. I just literally never even considered it as an option. This wasn't before you were required to take the safety course. I just never took the safety course. So we went to the Seffner Stab and Grab here, where we usually grab a drink or some gas before we go to Edward Bedard Park, and it's locked. It's not open. But what we did find is this. Instead of being open, they have offered us free powdered mini donuts, apparently.
It's really unfortunate because Cammy really likes the chocolate ones.
I know. I might have to pass on the free donuts, but it's a nice thought. The tasty cakes. I don't know if anybody's taking them up on the very sus-looking tasty cakes hanging on the door, though. I guess it's really it's a nice gesture. I don't know. We're not open, but enjoy some suspect summer temperature powdered donuts that totally aren't sprinkled with drugs or poison. Actually, wait a second. Do you guys think they might have had drugs in them? Oh man, if they had drugs in them, I might want to go back. Never gotten that. People were like, what if they drugged it? Like, who's giving away free drugs? I want to know. I'd put our chances at pretty low finding anything, but there are other reasons to go hang out in the woods. Shalicia has made a critical mistake with her beverage of choice.
It's not a fucking twist off. I'll just get a rock and I'll bash the top off like they do.
Bash the top off so it's jagged and you just sort of pour it into your mouth?
No.
I got you. Here. Everything's a freaking can opener.
It works better. Whoa! Don't litter though.
Why? Everybody else did. Dude, that looks like a Doritos commercial right there. It looks so good. Now the real question is are you going to be Does it know where everything is?
I forgot it was on here, dude.
Now, the real question is I was able to open your Doritos, but are you going to be able to light my freaking backwoods banana? Well, no luck. We searched high and low and could not find any earrings and no driver's licenses, English or otherwise. But we got to have some cold drinks, we got to enjoy nature, and we got to hang out in the woods and have a good time. Isn't that the point? So here's the deal with the Fisher Bass boat. I was getting the runaround on Facebook Marketplace. I had a guy that literally an hour after I put it on Marketplace that was gonna pay full price. Well, he was a no-show, gave me the runaround, asked me to hold it for him. I held it for him. Which again, if anybody who does Facebook Marketplace will say never to do that, but I don't know. I believe in the goodwill of man. I held it for him for another week and then another week after that. And finally I just said, you know what? Can't hold it for you anymore. You know, no tough feelings or nothing like that. Then everybody after that just gave me the runaround on the thing, trying to offer me nothing for it or trying to trade me just crap that I didn't need or didn't want. People had some nice stuff to offer. I just didn't need it. And eventually I just said, this is a perfectly good running Mercury Classic 50. There's nothing wrong with it. It has perfect compression, goes in and out of gear. I like this motor. And ever since I got one, even though I've never had one in the water, I've learned a lot more about them. And my friend Gunny Z calls them the gold wing of boat motors. As in, they go forever. And everything I've read online backs up that claim. Apparently, this 50 horsepower Mercury, the mini tower of power, really saved the company in the 70s and 80s as being one of the most reliable go forever for a two-stroke Sips gas motors that you could get, making 50 plus horsepower, because remember, these old Mercuries were actually rated at the prop, not at the power head. So this would be the equivalent of like a 65 horsepower from anybody else. 65 horsepower at 165, 170 pounds, that is tough to beat, man. So eventually I said, screw it. I'm just gonna keep the damn thing. There's only one one problem. This has got the old school tilt and trim on it, and I don't want that. That's the old school Mercury tilt and trim that actually had the tilt and trim motor in the boat itself. It's got this on both sides. It really increases the weight of the motor. Don't like it. It looks funky. It's overly complicated. And then of course you have to have a space for the tilt and trim motor and all the plumbing and wiring inside the boat instead of it being a contained unit. Now, what some people don't know, but I know because I have one on my 90 horsepower Tower of Power, is that for a very short time with these old Tower of Powers, the old school designed Mercuries, which I really dig. They actually kept making the Classic 40 and Classic 50 with a redesigned plastic shrouds like the one that I traded for that 200 horsepower Johnson right there. But I didn't want a 40. I wanted a 50. And I wanted it with the aluminum covers, not the plastic covers. Well, this one came up for a couple $100 on Facebook Marketplace. I don't know anything else about it except for the fact that it has exactly what I need with the integrated tilt and trim. Now, I'm gonna still see if I can get this Classic 50 running, but my plan right now is to take that one over there, which I know has a good motor, but it's got a crack in the foot. This one doesn't have a crack in the foot. Do the old switcheroo with everything I need off of this one onto that one, and then put the whole kit and caboodle on SS Coochie Coon, my little 14-foot 1959 Alumacraft. And with a 50, more like a 65 horsepower engine on the ass end of a 14-foot aluminum boat, and go ahead and ditch that Honda 34-stroke, which will be a lot easier for me to sell and make my money back on Facebook Marketplace. I think that thing's gonna fly. But for now, let's go ahead and pull this sucker off and hope that my boards over there can take 3 boat motors. That's not how I expected that to come out. Make sure you save this hardware. The stainless stuff is expensive. Really know what I'm doing here? I'm just taking off all these bolts, and I figure if I take them all off, something ought to separate, right? Right. Come on, you son of a... Oh, there we go. That's just not that bad. It's just annoying me. I really want to have a beer. Let's see if we can go ahead and pull my steering out, which I've never done before. So we'll be learning that one together too. In fact, I've never actually pulled a boat motor off a boat before. This is my first time. So far, it seems pretty straightforward. Almost free. Okay, there's one and 2. All right, battery cables. Man, this is working pretty good. All right, I feel like I got my money's worth. Pull these bolts out, and I think we're ready to rock. Not free from the tilt and trim unit yet, but free from the boat. What the heck's going on here? How does this come off? If anything else, I'm getting some good hardware out of this. My motor. Freaking lowball me. Fucking keep the damn thing. I didn't pay anything for it, so yeah, I think I'll just keep it. Cross your fingers on this one, boys. This is a whole lot of metal on these boards right now. All right, I think it's gonna work. Well, I mean, we'll see if they're all still upright in the morning.
Great job.
Good morning from beautiful Sunnydale, standing in front of the Big Red RV. Yes, we are back in the PNW, and my list, well, I don't want to talk about my list, okay? This is why I don't make lists. Lists just stress me out. They put these expectations on me that I feel like I just don't deserve. So let's go ahead and enjoy the PNW, which means picking up some motorcycles, which means getting our 4-wheeled vehicles running, because even though everything else survived just fine, surviving the Oregon winter was something that the battery in our Suzuki Samurai was not willing to do. You know, working on a vehicle outside in the trailer park just really drives home that while I may not have a lot, I got a lot. Not that it's bad here. This place is actually pretty awesome. People are friendly. They put up with our multiple loud vehicles. They even got some loud vehicles of their own. It just drives home how lucky I really am to have the things that I do back at home, my garage, all my tools set up and all that stuff. And it's good. It's good to remember that there's a lot of people out there who are doing as much as I am, and a lot of them doing a lot more than I do. And they're working on their cars and motorcycles outside in front of their trailer or their RV at the trailer park. I'm a lucky bastard. I need to remember that. When I leave for the winter next time, I need to go ahead and pull my batteries out and leave my trickle charger, or at least somewhere that isn't hooked up to the car over the cold months here. Battery for this thing's only 60 bucks, cheaper than a motorcycle battery even, but still, if I don't have to spend it, I don't want to. Hell yeah. We are gonna have to do something about this exhaust before me and Shaylisi take this on any kind of overlanding trip, because right now I would describe the exhaust as the brown note when you're at highway speeds. And does the wet spot still fire right up? Why wouldn't it? Yeah, we're in Portland. The drivers are a lot like they are in Tampa. Driving in Florida definitely prepares you for driving in the PNW. Home away from home. If you had ever told me in my life that I would consider Portland to be a second home, I would have called you crazy, but here we are. Beautiful place, amazing riding, and even better people out here, man. Don't believe everything you see on Portlandia and you hear in the news. The folks in Portland are freaking awesome. But I'm of the mind that you can find awesome people pretty much everywhere as long as you look for them. Somebody pulled out in front of Shay in the sidekick and she almost rear-ended him. Someone pulled out in front of me in the FX.
Can you
Well,
afford to rear-end a Tesla?
if you're gonna rear-end anybody, I guess rear-end the Tesla, man.
At least they'll have you on camera.
Yeah, no, it'll be his fault. It's all recorded, dude. Big Brother's watching, okay? But everything's good now. We're back with Sugar Tree J. We're at the lab. We got lots of cool stuff cooking up. What we have coming out, and I always say this, kill everything that we've done before. And everything we did before was amazing. I don't know where this stops, where this war of attrition of making everything get better stops, but yeah, either we'll find out or we'll never find out. Dude, getting our man Sugar Tree J hooked up with the Odin MFGs, the Kendine collab.
Yeah, baby.
It's a good thing we came bearing gifts, because I'll tell you this, man, I know I showed up at probably 30 minutes after my normal crack of noon time to be here. Today I really feel bad, dude, because I showed up so late today. I almost showed up too late to take my lunch break. Luckily, Jason waited for us to take his lunch break, so it's perfect. Let's clock back out. All right, we're finally leaving, and Shaylisi and Jason were really trying to do some work. I'm hungry. I think that was a little rude. I'm gonna have to file a complaint with HR, but we're finally leaving for our lunch break. Way late, too. It's like almost 1:30 at this point. We're talking about two completely different motorcycles. I've ridden Jason's 131, and I put a pretty fair amount of seat time on a lot of different 131s. That Road Glide, without a doubt, is the hottest 131 I've ever twisted the throttle wide open on. He's got insanely aggressive cams, and the tune that's on that thing is that's a straight up race tune, boys, because he didn't have that tune done by Harley Davidson, that's for sure. That's the warranty killer right there, unless Harley Davidson's listening, in which case that's a Harley Davidson tune, tuned especially for engine longevity and the best gas mileage Europe would ever want from a bike. Yeah, that's what it is, dude. A Pontiac Fiero, the GT, baby. That's what's up. Oh, you just have to take my word that Phil's 1500 pot roast sub was good. We had to eat and run because it's time to get Shaylisi's motorcycle. Trust me, she'll be a passenger princess when she has to be, but she'd much rather be riding her own. The secret weapon, the V45, or no, not the V45, the V30. The baby V4 runs again. Why wouldn't it? It does wheelies, unfortunately off camera. Shay might have gotten on her cell phone. Nothing to knock the cobwebs of the Pacific Northwest winter off like a couple of parking lot wheelies. Yeah, the Shovelhead FXR will also do wheelies. You just have to ask a lot nicer. I'll also say this about the long-suffering wet spot. If I started asking it to do wheelies right now, it's much more likely to break something than the Honda that's pretty much from the same year. It is what it is, baby. I'm not here to defend Harley Davidson's honor. That doesn't mean I don't love it. As Logan Nine Fingers says, sometimes you just have to be realistic about these things. So up here for the lab, Shay's been putting something pretty cool cool together. We're gonna go ahead and call this the Smoker's Flask for all you clandestine guys. Now, I know it's completely legal in Oregon and a lot of other places now, but for me, it's always a little more fun when I hide it. I like to be just a little sneaky. And with this thing right here, obviously this one says Sessions. This is the tester, so I think they'll know what you're smoking in this one, but we're gonna be giving these out to a bunch of the people on the ride. And anyone else who really wants to try one out, we have a limited supply that we've made for testers, because the idea behind these things is they're about the size, shape, and feel of an Elf bar, but inside of them, instead of being your blueberry flavored vape juice, it's a genuine full gram of Sessions juice. We're gonna be sending these out to test them because we don't want to be selling people stuff that sucks. We already know the juice is great, but we want to make sure that these batteries are going to hold up. So we'll be putting these out into the wild before we officially start selling them. We're going to be doing a bunch of really cool different designs on these, and I'm really excited about it. I like to go out into the wild and have a puff or two, but I don't like anybody to know exactly what I'm doing. Perfect for your kid's baseball game, the church parking lot, baby showers, PTA meetings, all sorts of places that you shouldn't be getting high, but you really want to. We've also finally got ice cream paint job, finally heading out into the wild. So we definitely got to get the caddy running again, because that's what brought the whole thing about. Stoked about these guys right here. Pre-rolls. Like, I don't mind a vaporizer, trust me. They can be really convenient. If I'm out with the boys on a motorcycle ride and I'm sitting around a campfire, I don't want to smoke from a machine. I want to light a big old nasty hog leg and pass it around, all right? There's just something about actually lighting something on fire that always feels just a little bit better. We're gonna go down to the farm on a different episode and I'll show you how those things are actually made. They're infused pre-rolls. Trust me, you take one of those to the head. If you can do it by yourself, we're gonna call that the one chip challenge, because I can't take one to the head all by my lonesome. And even Shay Lisi, who is a freaking titan, a heavyweight, the giantess of smoking weed, even she has trouble taking an entire 1 gram pre-roll to the dome. Oh no, this is so awesome. So we've already got Whiskey River in live resin. We didn't even have time to put it in the actual Whiskey River package because people wanted it so bad, and this stuff is almost already sold out. That's the live resin in the white package. This one's gonna be the cured resin. And if you caught the last episode of the Sessions podcast, you saw my man Dimitri back there and Jason talking and whiskey. Well, certain Monday or Tuesday, my man Dimitri is going to be taking everything you see down there. Trust me, it's a lot.
Each batch is
Dang,
about 2,000 grams in each one of those containers.
2,000 grams in each container, and it's all getting turned into oil. A gram's a gram around the world, all right? If you say I'm looking for a gram in Europe, Southeast Asia, pretty much I think they know what you're looking for, all right? But if you say it in Oregon, you don't get arrested for it. Well, after a nice lunch break, picking up Shay Lisi's Magna, all in all, I think I got a good solid 45 minutes to an hour's worth of work done. It's time for my favorite part of the day, not just quitting time, the ride home. When you got a ride home like I do, you're definitely looking forward to quitting time. Bro, is that a bald eagle? Oh, it was meant to be. Let me out the mountains on this hog, baby, on this shovelhead. Bald eagle screeching across the sky. Who could work at a time like this? Oh, God, coming out of the valley over these hills and ridges, down those winding roads, bald eagles across the sky. This is what the Founding Fathers had in mind for me. The Founding Fathers wouldn't want me paying attention to some godforsaken list. They wouldn't want me toiling. They'd want me out here in the foothills cranking my hog. Damn, it feels good out here. Shirt sleeves in April. You're telling me this wasn't meant to be? You're telling me I should have been at work instead? Not a chance. Let's burn it down, baby. Feels good. Feels a lot better than doing whatever it was that was on that list I made. Somehow, just about right now, I can't remember what was on it at all. Funny how that works, huh? Seemed so important just a couple of days ago, didn't it? Oh, it's pretty damn neat how riding a motorcycle, well, not just any motorcycle, about riding the wet spot, riding a 40-plus-year-old motorcycle way too fast for how slow it's supposed to go through the hills will make every single problem you had before you got on it seem rather insignificant. This guy gets it. I hope you didn't work today at all, brother. You too. No work. No work for anybody. You tell your boss, old shade tree surgeon said take the day off. Doctor's orders. Shirt sleeves in April. You're telling me shirt sleeves in April in Oregon? I was not meant to be following anything that exists on a list. That is not what my body was built for. I don't know what it was built for, but it definitely wasn't built for following shit on a list. My man. I think over the past few months, I will tell y'all, I have been stretched thinner than I have ever been stretched in my life. I have been down bad. I've not been feeling the best, if I gotta be honest with you. Not the best at all. And again, awful hard to remember exactly why or what was going on or what I even could have been stressed about once there's a winding road in front of me and a motorcycle underneath me. How could I be upset when this world exists? Made just for yours truly and nobody else. In shirt sleeves. In Oregon. In April. Hell yeah. And I'll see people who say they want to work with motorcycles. They want to do motorcycles for a living. I don't know how anybody could do this for a living. This is the anathema to work. Doing this for a living, getting paid to do this, it just doesn't seem like what I'd want to do. Do we make a couple bucks off of YouTube videos? Sure, here and there. But the minute I think I'm starting to get paid to ride a motorcycle, like I have to do it, like it's work, God damn, that just defeats the damn purpose, doesn't it? I don't want no money for doing this. This isn't something I have to do. And I'll tell you this about old shade tree surgeon. Anybody out there who thinks that this is what I would want to do for a living, that this is what I would want to get paid to do, this right here, motherfucker, you don't know me at all. Don't bring money into this equation. Don't ruin it for me with money, that lowly mortal concept of money. I don't want to hear about that when I'm out here. I am a microbe on a motorcycle, slowly crawling my way across the heavy, rounded, enormous breast of Mother Nature. And you know what, baby? One little jiggle from that beautiful babe will send us all crushed to dust. But what a ride. Get off this guy's ass. I don't want to stress him out, dude. I'm having too good of a time to stress anybody out. You do your thing, baby. I have just as good a time running down this road at the speed limit as I will 100 miles an hour. And I don't think there's a goddamn thing that can get me down right now. You just remember this. Anytime somebody gives you a hard time about enjoying life's whimsy, anytime somebody looks at you sideways because you'd rather be on the back of your motorcycle instead of making $1, someone who can't understand why you just lay on your back, build castles in the sky, and gaze upon the width and breadth of Mother Nature's ample bosom. Anybody starts giving you static about doing that, you just tell them what old shade tree surgeon says. Work? Baby, work's a 4-letter word, alright? And just like our old boy from back in the day said, if you ain't got anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Back at Sunnyvale. And you know what? Life is good. Good morning! Me, Shay Lisi, and of course Sugar Tree Jay. After their duel this morning, we've decided to kiss and make up with some breakfast burrito at a non-screaming jalapeno taqueria. When they got the whole ass dead fish on the plate like that, you always know the place is gonna be good. And we trust Jason. Unsurprisingly delicious. I feel much better.
I feel better now. It's fixed me.
I wasn't even hungover.
There's a certain type of human being who gets the highlighter safety yellow Corvette.
He's a project manager at the construction site.
First stop here at the Oregon Bud Company, and it might get old for you guys out here in Oregon just seeing the stuff that's set up like this with these kind of like Old West Gold Rush Oregon Trail looking buildings, but Oregon Bud Company is in Clackamas, which is the end or the beginning of the Oregon Trail. I guess it depends on which way you're going, but if you're in Clackamas, these guys are super cool. They have Sessions and the Sessions Brapstar collab in stock at all times. Obviously, we're trying to get it in more stores. Can't make it fast enough, really, but I know you can always count on Oregon Bud Company and Clackamas to have our stuff on the shelves for you. What do they got on the shelf there?
Literature.
Well, let's leave something there for somebody to find. The Brapstar Classic Sticker Pack. What book's it going in?
The auto repair manual, duh.
Come on in to Oregon Bud Company, Auto Repair Manual on the shelf, page 420. If you're the person who picks that up, make sure you take a picture.
And if you pick it up without going in there and buying some Sessions or Brapstar, I'm gonna be pissed, all right? Even if you don't smoke, you can at least get it for a friend, all right? Don't just come in and take the sticker pack. Our next stop up here in Milwaukee, Today's Herbal Choice. And they've given Sessions and Brapstar a whole lot of real estate on the shelves over here. I really dig it. Are nowhere to hide them, at least nowhere to hide them where it wouldn't look weird if you were looking for them at Today's Herbal Choice. So we're not putting it in books today, but there is stickers and keychains and stuff up here. So we're gonna leave a few sticker packs, some Shea Lisi stickers and some other Brapstar stickers. Come say hi to our girl Autumn up here. Tell them Shade Tree Surgeon, Shea Lisi and Sugar Tree Jay sent ya. And obviously I can't make you buy any Sessions or Brapstar while you're up here, but it'd be a lot cooler if you did. Anybody who ever said don't do business with your friends, I think you got pretty bad friends. That's why we're also stopping by Power Plant. Close personal friend of Sugar Tree Jay's, also been very good to Brapstar, myself and Shea Lisi, and they like dogs. Left some stickers inside here on the counter too. Very cool place, one of the closest places to go if you're around Legion or downtown Portland. So make sure you check out Power Plant and tell them Shade Tree Surgeon and Shea Lisi sent you. So here's something I really like about Jason and Sessions in general is, despite the nature of the business that we do out here, Jason's a family man. While we certainly could have gone and shaken more babies and kissed more hands at a bunch more dispensaries, Jason said it was time to break away because he didn't want to miss his son's soccer game. I just think it's important to point out, this is bad people doing good things. The whole reason that we met Jason was because of shovelheads and forgotten angels. And I always think it's pretty cool to point out that despite the fact that, we're essentially drug dealers out here in Oregon. I mean, legal ones, certainly legal ones, that Jason is still a family man and he never misses his kids' soccer games and he's out there cheering them on. And I just think it's really cool. And I will tell you, it warmed the cockles, possibly even the sub-cockles of my heart to hear Jason's son out there cheering on his teammates the same way his dad cheers on him. It was really, really cool to see.
Nice job, Bass!
I gotta keep it up! Come on, guys!
Yeah, he's freaking cheering him on. I love it, dude. You know who he sounds like freaking saying that out there? Like you, dude. It makes me proud to have Jason as a business partner because it's not just his family that he cares about, it's his employees' families too. And, he makes all his son's soccer games, but in that same vein, his employees' families are also important to them. So when there's time needed off or extra help or anything like that, he does look out for his people. And just because the business you're in doesn't have the best look, doesn't mean you can't run a good business and treat your employees awesome. So just wanted to share that, guys. Now, let's get back to weird vehicles. Well, I was going to end this video with getting the Cadillac running. I guess I should have started filming as soon as I pulled out of Sunnyvale because as far as trailer parks go, it's definitely not that bad, but it's still a trailer park and they definitely still siphon the gas out of my Caddy. And me not checking, really, at this point, who's the dumb one? Luckily, Shea Lisi is coming to the rescue. All right, moment of truth. Why wouldn't it? Yeah, we'll probably have to do something about that. All right, let me go put gas in it. We're rolling, baby. I got no idea how fast we're going because unsurprisingly, the speedometer does not work. But I had Waze up last time and I had this thing up to 60 miles an hour. It didn't feel like a very safe 60 miles an hour, but 60 miles an hour it did. It probably felt like it had a little bit more left in it. I think I could hit 70 if I was really feeling like a daredevil. But I'll say this, right about 55 miles an hour, that suspension, the tires, the steering starts to feel awful floaty. Not a whole lot of feedback going to the wheel of this Cadillac. But now that it has gas in it, the thing actually runs fine. Well, I mean, I say that. I haven't gotten very far yet. I'm just a few miles down the road. I mean, I took this thing through the mountains. I broke a throttle cable, and I had to use some rubberized line that I found lying around the back of it to tied to the actual carburetor to give me the rest of the way home, but I mean, it got there. By hook or by crook, baby. We always make it somehow. The other thing I've never checked in the Caddy is if the four-wheel drive actually works. It goes, it stops, it runs. It needs a kick-down cable. Like it just shifts right into second gear, and then when you hit the gas, it won't shift back. It won't downshift like it should because the kick-down cable just isn't even connected. So you have to like slow all the way down or manually shift the automatic transmission to get it kicked down to second if you want to accelerate. Well, it runs. Not sure what we're gonna do with it, but it sure as heck runs. I'm gonna have to learn how to mess with the carburetor on there. I got a Chinesium carb on it because it was easier to cut through the Gordian knot than it was to rebuild the carburetor that was on it. I promise you. I have a link down below of a video of us getting this Cadillac and pulling it out of a field for a few $100 and driving it home and the misadventures that ensued. As far as what we're gonna do with it, I don't know. Rooftop tent, overlanding, why not? I'm gonna sell one of them. I can't justify having the Suzuki Sidekick and the four-wheel drive Cadillac. It's just ridiculous. Now, the Cadillac is a lot more ridiculous vehicle than the Suzuki and probably a lot less reliable, but man, I really like it. Thanks for sticking around on this video that I know was all over the place, literally all over the place, as in both sides of the country. We're still getting our crap together, and as I was saying earlier in the video, it has been an incredibly hectic time for me. Just like I said, the past few months have been really difficult, and I'm usually really honest on the channel, and I don't try to hide anything. I'm certainly not trying to hide anything now. I'm just telling you guys, it's been a little bit of a tough time, but I'm coming out on the other side, and in a world where motorcycles exist, in that world, well, it's hard to be bummed out for too long, that's for sure. That's gonna about do it for this one. I appreciate the hell out of you guys, and until next time, keep it weird.
Crashing through the sky comes a fearful cry. Shade tree, army. Shade tree, army. Armies of the night, evil taking flight. Shade tree, army. Shade tree, army. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Panic spreading far and wide. Can the world oppose the deadliest of foes? Shade tree, army. Shade tree, army. Who will risk it all to end the evil call of Shade Tree, army. Shade Tree, army. They never give up, they never say die, walking tall with banners high. Shade Tree Army, a ruthless gang of scum, villains, freaks, and bikers determined to rule the world.